What is the language at the bottom of your custody order that talks about relocation? Hi, I'm Alicia Kinchlow, the attorney and founder behind Kinchlow Law, a family law and estate planning practice based out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. At the bottom of every custody order in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, there should be a clause that talks about relocation. Now, sometimes when people see this, they have no idea what that means, or they're a little bit concerned about what it means. But what it really is saying is that one person who has custody cannot move away without notifying any other parties who may have custody rights to that child or those children. And then what it does do is it cites the statute, the specific statute that deals with relocation, which is section 5337. Okay, I'm going to cite to that statute in the show notes so you can take a look at it, because just about everything you need to know about relocation is there. So what that statute talks about is how you have to give notice, what has to be in the notice, and then what happens from there. So let's talk about how you have to give notice. So you have to give notice 60 days before the proposed relocation, or as soon as 10 days after you know when you need to relocate, if it's going to be less than 60 days. So there's a time frame by which you're supposed to follow. Then it also tells you how you're supposed to send this notice of relocation to the other person, which is certified return receipt mail. Now, in terms of what is in the actual notice, that is all provided in 5337. But a couple of things that you should be aware of that is included in there is who's going to be living with the child or children in the new location, what the new location is, what the new school district is, what the new proposed custody order would be, and just some additional information. So it's important to make sure you follow the rules in that notice of relocation, because it has to be proper relocation. And you don't want to fail on some of the smaller points where you don't need to fail on. All right, so you serve that on the other person following the guidelines in the statute. What happens next generally is that the person who receives it has 30 days to file an objection with the court. Now, if they do not file the objection with the court, it can be deemed that they waive their right to object to the person relocating. Now, it doesn't mean necessarily that the person now is able to move away with the child. There still needs to be a modification of the custody rights, but you just need to understand that it makes it harder for you to argue that that relocation cannot occur when you don't file the objection timely or you don't follow the procedure. So it's important to understand exactly what the procedure is. Make sure you're serving notice in the right way, and make sure that you speak to an attorney licensed in your jurisdiction about exactly how to do this, because people get caught up on this all the time. And relocating away from another parent who's exercising significant custodial rights can be somewhat difficult to do. Now, also within Section 5337, it talks about the burden, who has the burden to prove that relocation is in the best interest of the child or the parent who wants to move. And then it also lays out the 10 factors that must be considered when relocating with a child. Some of those factors overlap with the 16 factors that we know in custody court, but it's important for you to be able to look at the factors. Now, this is where having an attorney is also going to be very important, because there are certain things that the court cares more about and things that they care less about. Some things that are less priority is one parent moving away for a relationship. That generally is something that the court is not necessarily frowns upon, but is not a good enough reason in and of itself to move a child away from another parent or other person who's exercising significant custodial rights. So it's important to understand the reason behind why you're telling the other person that you're moving, and how and what you have to prove in court. All right, so again, I'm going to link to the statute in the show notes so you can take a look at it. Again, it's important to talk to an attorney licensed in your jurisdiction about the facts specific to your case. These videos are for informational purposes only, and relocation can be a very complex and costly procedure, and it happens really quick because the courts know that you need to get an answer very soon. So it's important to kind of have your ducks in a row before you start off in the process. All right, I hope you found this video helpful. Please subscribe to the video. Please share it out. Leave comments. I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking. And if there's any videos that you would like me to kind of talk about, put that in the comments as well. All right, until next time, take care.